Revelation chapter 8. And when he had opened the seventh seal, there was silence in heaven about the space of half an hour. And I saw the seven angels which stood before God, and to them were given seven trumpets. And another angel came and stood at the altar, having a golden censer, and there was given unto him much incense, that he should offer it with the prayers of all saints upon the golden altar which was before the throne. And the smoke of the incense, which came with the prayers of the saints, ascended up before God out of the angel's hand. And the angel took the censer and filled it with fire of the altar, and cast it into the earth. And there were voices and thunderings and lightnings and an earthquake. And the seven angels which had the seven trumpets prepared themselves to sound. The first angel sounded, and there followed hail and fire mingled with blood, and they were cast upon the earth. And the third part of trees was burnt up, and all green grass was burnt up. And the second angel sounded, and as it were a great mountain burning with fire was cast into the sea, and the third part of the sea became blood. And the third part of the creatures which were in the sea and had life died, and the third part of the ships were destroyed. And the third angel sounded, and there fell a great star from heaven, burning as it were a lamp, and it fell upon the third part of the rivers, and upon the fountain of waters. And the name of the star is called Wormwood, and the third part of the waters became wormwood, and many men died of the waters, because they were made bitter. And the fourth angel sounded, and the third part of the sun was smitten, and the third part of the moon, and the third part of the stars, so as the third part of them was darkened, and the day shone not for a third part of it, and the night likewise. And I beheld and heard an angel flying through the midst of heaven, saying with a loud voice, Woe, woe, woe to the inhabitants of the earth, by reason of the other voices of the trumpet of the three angels which are yet to sound. Chapter 8 is a very interesting part of Revelation, just deep into the vision at this point, and I'm not going to have a lot to say about it. It kind of just speaks for itself, and I don't know, it's prophecy, so I don't know exactly. I mean, I guess you could just have discussions over what exactly is going to be happening versus what was the vision. And I mean, I think it comes up a little bit more in the next chapter, so we'll get into that, just exactly what's going on. Like, Paul could only do his best to describe the visions that he saw. So, well, there's a moment of silence in heaven, and that was just always interesting to me to know that there was a biblical reference for having a moment of silence, and comes up in Book of Revelation. And I also thought the language that they use about the space of half hour. So just mentioning space and time together like that, I just found interesting. And so the angels start trumpeting, and it seems like literally all hell is breaking loose at this point. Fire and brimstone falling down. Well, and this is where, I don't know, the timelines in Revelation, sometimes are we doing flashbacks, flash sidewayses? I don't know. But I can do my best, because at this point, like, all sorts of stuff is crashing down from the heavens. So in my opinion, it's like, okay, this is after. To me, it still seems linear, the storytelling. Like, this is after when the sky opens up. I do believe in rapture, but then I also believe that some people, like, I believe that after rapture happens, people have like one last chance. And that's just my interpretation of when I read the Bible, that's what it seems like. It seems like rapture does happen, but it doesn't seem like right when Jesus comes back in the clouds and gathers the elect. It doesn't seem like that's the end. It seems like that's just like the beginning of the most intense of the things that's happening. Anyways, so I just want to point out, though, that the first angel, the second angel, the third angel, all have to do with things crashing down. So these could all be very close to one another. All of these events could be in like one day. I don't know. I don't know what the timeline is on any of these things. But they seem, in my opinion, all this stuff would happen pretty quickly after the big earthquake, and then when the heavens unroll, and what I believe rapture happens. So first angel, fire, brimstone type stuff. Second time, it's a giant mountain flaming thing. Have any of you guys seen the flaming trash thing in India? I guess India was having like a heat wave, and they have this like massive mountain made out of trash, and it was caught fire. Just what that reminded me of. A lot of thirds that go on, and it's just worth pointing out that a third is 33%, and a third is significant. It'll come up later, I think, in Revelation. There's mention of a third of the stars being drawn out of the sky by Satan. I mean, that comes up here somewhere, I think. Yeah, the fourth angel. So I guess it's worth. I wrote down stuff about wormwood. The third angel, that's when wormwood falls. It's interesting that there's a plant that they talk about. You know how, like, and absinthe. It's like a big thing that absinthe had wormwood in it, right? The plant. So it's just interesting that there's a medicinal plant with the name of wormwood. And again, with a third part of the rivers, a third of the waters. And so I don't know. Is wormwood gonna crash down in the Amazon? That's a guess. I don't know. The fourth. So what's interesting about the fourth one, when a third of the sun is smitten, a third of the moon and the stars, and then it says like a third of the day doesn't work, and then a third of the night also. It seems like just the day-night cycle is going to be going really wacky. It's because we already mentioned that the sun goes dark and the moon turns to blood. That's like it's like the sun pops like a light bulb, but it's like it's going to come back on. You know how what this actually reminds me of, have you ever seen a light bulb where if you like flick it or you tap it a little bit, it kicks back on a little bit, but it's just a messed up light bulb that flickers? That's what this sounds like. So it sounds like the sun is busted, but it flickers back on, but only good enough to light up the sky. A third of the time it's not going to be working. And then it says that about the nighttime also, so I don't know, that makes it seem like during the night it's going to become bright all of a sudden for a little bit. Like just everything's going to be going out of whack, because daytime and sunlight are two different things. Two separate things. Yeah, and it's just getting started. We have more visions coming and more strange things. God bless everyone.